Hi, I'm Ryan. I'm a woodworker running a small business out of my one-car, kind of tiny little shop here. Last week I did a bit of an update on some shop optimization stuff I was doing and kind of carry on with that theme today and give a bit of an update on some of the projects I'm working through. I had a pretty cool CNC project roll through. A fellow was building a cockpit for an Airbus A320 for a flight simulator. Pretty interesting. Learned a lot about that, and there was a lot of work setting up the different files and cutting through. But it was it was pretty cool process and pretty good guy to work with. So excited to see how that works out for him. Ended up milling up a whole bunch of 4/4 walnut for my brother. He's making built-in for his TV, kind of TV stand. That was a ton of work. And on the finishing strokes here of this record player cabinet, need to put one more coat of finish on and then bolt the drawer in. I have this piece of mahogany I'm using for a drawer front, and I want to make a little scalloped kind of recess on the backside just for like a pull. So I got to figure out how I'm going to do that. I'll probably do that on the CNC. Not sure if I can do that in VCarve or if I need to design something in Fusion, but I will figure that out and share kind of what I learn in the next week or so. Anyways, today I'm just going to walk around the shop a little bit, tell you kind of where things are at, problems I'm having finding a place for something, and give you a kind of a quick update on where things are at. Hope you enjoy. Okay, so last week I made some modifications to my dust collector. That seemed to work out pretty good. One of the commenters left a note that I should make a bracket and kind of turn it 90 degrees, and honestly I think he's absolutely correct. I need to do that. It's something I've been thinking of. Just a kind of a simple L bracket that comes out from the wall to support it. And the way he described his, he kind of integrated, I think, the mount into the motor and into the cyclone, so that's an option. But I think being able to tug this back a little bit would work. I'd have to figure out what side, because there's not really room over the CNC. And on this side with my 3D printer and my monitor, I'd have to move the monitor, which I'm debating moving onto the CNC card as I build that. But anyway, some progress on that front. So it's an improvement. It's not all the way there, but it's a good improvement. I got my CNC, so I bought some 1-inch MDF, installed the 48-inch extension for my CNC here. Just made a quick new spoil board. I posted a video a little while ago about how I did a spoil board with T-Track. It was cool, worked pretty well, but this time I decided to try to use threaded inserts. So I bought a whole bunch of threaded inserts from Lee Valley, and honestly I think I'm copying Jay Bates for most of what I'm doing for my CNC setup. So he's got a great video on a Onefinity cart he built. But anyways, he's using bolts. He used like normal kind of like hex head bolts. I'm using these Allen bolts, kind of mushroom head bolts, rather than like knobs to turn. And I just am using my impact. I think I'm going to buy a little 12-volt drill just to keep on the CNC. But anyways, threading this into the waste board, or the spoil board, sorry, for clamping is awesome. And working through that project for the cockpit, there was a ton of pieces, a ton of different clamping, a ton of different cuts. You can see the spoil board was brand new. Now it's clearly not. It had some pretty deep cuts there, but figured that out. But yeah, just not having to crank and uncrank 100 times, a day makes a big difference. Just being able to use the drill to fire it in. I built a machine for the kind of start of a machine file. Again, Jay Bates' inspiration, with a grid cut for this, surface this, and G-Sender. So when this piece of MDF is expired, I'll be able to surface it a few times, but when it's dead, I can just put another one on, line it up with the marks I cut into the 1-inch MDF, and just recut the holes for the threaded inserts. So I overcut the piece in the spoil board so that it goes through, so there's enough room. It works pretty good. I'm still working through kind of what I want to do for the cart here. Again, like, I can't buy Jay Bates' plans because there's a few things that just don't work. My CNC is a little bit bigger footprint, and I can't have the vertical clamping section on the side. I need it on the front. But, other than that, I can kind of work with what he put on his YouTube video and what he's shown. And yeah, I think it's going to be that. Or the other option is just buy a Craig cart, which I know a lot of people do. A lot of the Onefinity videos I've seen, specifically, not so much with the long roll, with Onefinities, use the Craig carts. The 66 by 44-inch pieces will work perfectly in this space. And then I can kind of figure out everything I want to do from there. So I'm trying to weigh off, just building it myself versus just buying it. Time is kind of a huge factor. I don't have a lot of time to spend working on this project. But yeah, got to figure that out. I added Long Mill's spindle to my CNC, and a couple things to note there. Installation is super easy, great documentation like always. Highly recommend CNC Labs, and they're Long Mill. Curious what an alt mill will be like maybe one day when I have a bit more space. But anyways, the two most important upgrades for me. So noise is not one of them. It's quieter when it's idling. It's the same noise when it's cutting. No big deal there. Dust collection is insane, especially cutting in the amount of MDF I cut over the last few days. The dust collection with this is so much better than with the kind of normal Makita router and the 2-inch dust or 2.5-inch drop back dust collection. And honestly, just the speed control, being able to start and stop the job, have it spin up the spindle, move into place, start cutting, cut the whole thing, lift out, stop the spindle, move back. It's a super nice little convenience. You don't have to worry about dragging bits and breaking bits because you forgot to turn it on, forgot to turn it off. It's, yeah, dust collection and the speed control and automatic start stop make a spindle 100% worth it. It's hard to say if I would buy a spindle from the beginning if I were to do this again. You know, they say to keep it simple, and you know, I learned a lot with that little Makita router in the few months that I had it, and then before moving to the spindle. I don't think it would have been overwhelming to just start with the spindle, but I have no regrets about the path I took. So yeah, that's it. That's enough on the CNC. More on this to come and how I intend to build this into a pretty key part of my workflow and the projects I work on going forward. I know it doesn't always make the best for kind of project YouTube videos, but CNCs are, you know, amazing. In a small shop, I'm starting to find that it can replace a lot of different tools, like potentially the drill press. I know I've had a commenter that lives here in Calgary that might want to buy the drill press. I'm not quite there with selling it yet, but getting closer. I just love it. It's super convenient, but man, it takes up a lot of space and I just don't have it. So it doesn't have a home right now. It's just kind of sitting here, moving, shuffling back and forth. Got to find a home for the drill press at some point. I'm actually thinking of maybe like shuffling my lumber rack around a bit and putting the drill press over by the door. Because I think like with the CNC, if I need to tile big sheets, I got a project coming up where I have to tile some full sheets through. I'm going to need it, one, to be on casters, not on sawhorses, but two, this obviously isn't going to work. This isn't a permanent spot. I'm going to have to wheel the bandsaw out of the way. So maybe, yeah, maybe over here, kind of by the door where the lumber rack is now would be a good spot. I changed insurance companies, kind of, you know, just part of the business administration stuff. As part of my renewal, I just ended up going to another company, and one of the questions they asked was, do I store my finishes in a metal cabinet? And the answer at the time was no, but I will now. So rushed home before, kind of the day before the policy took effect, bought this just metal enclosure wall cabinet from Canadian Tire, happened to be on sale. I initially had it kind of on the ground by the door, but didn't have time to mount it. But yeah, got it mounted on the wall here, just kind of above my outfeed table. It's kind of tucked out of the way. And I have to say, it's just great. Like, more storage is fantastic. There's nothing fancy about this cabinet. It came flat packed, but it's metal, meets the requirements there, and it holds all of my finishes, epoxy, stains, glues, everything, finishing supplies are all tucked away. Small improvements, especially in a small space, make a huge difference. It was almost 3 years ago that I kind of started on the process of renovating my garage, turning it into my shop. I guess it was exactly 3 years ago, when I started doing that. And one of the things I did is I sold a whole bunch of tools I didn't need. I had a bigger, 20-gallon compressor, a bunch of air tools. I replaced all of my air tools with battery tools, sold my compressor, sold everything, and said, you know what? I'm going to buy a small compressor someday when I need one. So I wired in this spot here, so I have a wired outlet up there. I'm like, that's going to be my compressor spot. I'm going to find something that fits up there. And I did a bit of research, looked at California Air Tools, Makita, and Metabo for their quiet series of compressors. I think the California Air Tools stuff is probably the best, but it's also more expensive. And this Metabo one was on sale for $169 at KMS. Spent more than that on the reel, but I hate snaggly cords, so whatever. Bought a Flexilla reel. It was still on sale. It's fine, small comforts, that kind of thing. But this is so quiet. It's just amazing. It's only a 1 gallon, so like I can't use it to blow out, say, my dust collector filter, because it just takes forever. So that was something I was hoping for, but I kind of figured it would be too small. But for blowing off projects before I finished, it was just kind of my primary use for it, just to be able to dust something off. It works fantastic. you can run a little pin nailer with this thing. I have a Milwaukee M12 pin nailer, so I don't know if I'll need that. But yeah, just, another small little addition. I think compressor is nice to have. Could fill a tire if it was low, fill a bike tire if I need to, blow stuff off. Just nice little addition to the shop. Okay, so that's about it for today. Just wanted to give you a quick run around of how things are going. Got some projects coming in. Big one for in the shop is the CNC cart. I'm trying to put a lot of thought into exactly what I want there and how that's going to work. I have some furniture projects coming up that are some pretty neat ones. I'm building some oval side tables, which I think is going to be a lot of CNC work to build the structure and then wrap it in plywood. So excited to get on with that. That starts here in the next couple days. I will be delivering this cabinet. It's effectively done. The client's back on April 1st, so I'll deliver it on April 1st, and that'll be out of here. Like I said, I got some cool CNC projects, some cool furniture projects coming up. I'll share bits and pieces of those. We'll do a couple of build videos for some of this stuff over the coming weeks and months. So subscribe, stay tuned. I hope you enjoy this type of content. Let me know if you guys want to see more shop projects, more furniture builds. I think that, running a business out of a tiny shop on the side is something that a lot of people do. So happy to share my experiences with that. And please let me know any suggestions. Lots of good comments keep coming. I love it. I love hearing things I can do better. And I love kind of sharing everybody's experiences. So anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Have a great day.